Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the next matchup of this series, which is going to actually be the last series for today in the round of 8. Tomorrow we'll be doing the round of 4, as well as the bronze match in the grand finals, and then the community show matches, as chosen by you guys. Guys over on TeamLiquid.net, in fact, if you guys want to vote in that, you can do it. It's over on TeamLiquid.net. There's a little button in the top right-hand corner for ASUS ROG. Click on that and go and vote for who you want to see in those community show matches. Whatever the case, that was an unfortunate. In fact, we've actually got WhiteRa saying in the chat as to why he thinks that didn't work out. Apparently, in the ESL version, the pylon block does not work.
Apparently so. I mean, on the ladder version, I suppose, that the pylon block, 3 pylon block does work, but unfortunately didn't work out too well for him. And it looks like both players are ready to go. Good luck, have fun, go is said by me. And Terminus SC, big map. Let's see what WhiteRa has. Can he come back in this series, or will Ret be able to just 3-0?
Maybe. I mean, Ret's looking really strong right now. He's going beast mode. He's playing really straight up. He's getting all of his timings right. He's droning behind that. He's getting stupid numbers of drones all the time. We never know where he actually pulls them from. He must have some magic hat behind there or something like that. I'm kind of jealous. Whatever the case, we have this Terminus SE matchup here between LiquidRet. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg to the east versus his opponents. It is Thermaltake Esports WhiteRa. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the north.
The way you said that, it's just a hilarious image of Ret wearing a cape, having your hat, and instead of pulling a rabbit out, pulls a drone.
We could do that. I think we could do that. I think we should do that. Is anyone got a cape? No, no capes. Apparently they're not big in Finland.
And once again, we are going to have this pylon on the lower ground again for WhiteRa. He does it all the time. Every single map he will do it. And he just wants to have that, better economy going into the mid stages. But unfortunately, it's not, well, it hasn't been working out too well for him. And we'll have to see what it will do here, because he is on the verge of being knocked out, unfortunately.
Yeah, he is, which would be very unfortunate. I believe he might be playing a community show match, but whatever the case, WhiteRa going out in the round of 8. I don't know if you would call that an upset per se, because as you said, this is probably the most evenly matched thing, aside from Elfie Huck, that we've seen up until this point. Ret and WhiteRa are both extremely good players, but Ret has just been on an absolute rampage lately, really finding his form. And that's scary, as we've seen.
I mean, it's funny because you have such good players like Nurcio using Mutilus on the ladder in online tournaments, and you don't really see Ret play that many online tournaments, if any tournaments really. And the previous tournament we saw him play, he was using Ling, Roach, and Festa, and all of a sudden you see, a ladder strategy being used from Ret, and he just uses it so well, and it almost seems impossible for WhiteRa to play. Even going double Stargate, immediately Ret transitions out and starts doing something else. So WhiteRa definitely has his work cut out for him, because Ret, I mean, he beat Hong and Prime in MLG 2-0. He did lose to MC though, but he has the capability to beat the best Protoss players in the world.
Yeah, WhiteRa not even able to block off that hatchery right there, unfortunately. That's going to go down for Ret at a nice time, so he's going to be pretty happy about that. I think, honestly, if WhiteRa wants to beat that mass muta, he's got to see it coming a bit earlier, and he's maybe got to open with Stargate or something along those lines and start to harass with that, but he's never given the opportunity, and he's always going for this Forge fast expansion here, and Ret always sees it. He knows exactly what's going on, and it's difficult to respond to.
And we are going to be seeing a fast third eventually here from WhiteRa. He opted to get the second pylon and cannon before the gateway, which is a lot of resources before the gateway actually comes out, which would clearly pull his timing for a 2-base timing attack back by a couple of minutes, which is not good whatsoever. And so we will be seeing that similar 4-5 gateway expansion. But if he decides to go robotics facility again and starts to add on an immortal or something, and Ret decides to go Mutilus once again, WhiteRa could just easily be knocked out the tournament 3-0.
Yeah, I think WhiteRa's got to be really, really careful with his scouting. He's got to absolutely stay on top of what Ret is doing. He needs to get that knowledge, and really he's not been getting that, whereas Ret has been gaining knowledge left, right, and center. Great scouting, run-bys, overlord sacrifices, whatever he needs in order to get information on his opponent.
And I'm looking at Ret's base. I was focused on what WhiteRa was doing and think about what he could do, but Ret goes for an incredible early layer here with
before
double
the
gas.
5-minute mark. That is crazy early.
I think what we're going to see is maybe that Nidus might actually come out here, because the way that the third base has access to the natural on WhiteRa's side of things, there's a lot of areas for him to place down the Nidus network. He can do it in the main base. He can do it on the third base. If he does it on the third base, what can actually stop the Nidus from being completed? Usually it's probes, but probes are so far away from the Nexus in this scenario, and we'll have to see what he is doing here. And I am really interested in what Rhett's doing. His drone count is so incredibly low. The layer timing is so incredibly fast.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on this Overlord because that's going to reveal it if he decides to go at Nidus. And we've got Stargate play coming out right here from WhiteRa looking to... And I think that might be the wrong thing to do.
The probe scouts there's no third base, so he knows that something is up. And a Zealot's just going to walk past everything and say, I need to see what's going on, and Rhett needs to deny this.
Yep, and he's able to do so.
Does.
A nice block off there by Rhett. Very nice indeed. But yes, you're right. He did see there is no fast third. So hum-de-hum, he must be thinking to himself. That said, this Overlord is not in a good Nidus position.
Ventral sags.
Yeah, ventral
so
sags.
He's not going to be going Nidus, but he will be dropping units into the base. He's getting Overlord speed as well, so we're literally going to see Overlord drops everywhere. And I like the Stargate being added on. He could use a Phoenix 2 scout. He could have used a WhiteRa to prevent the Nidus network, but he's not going to have enough to prevent all these Overlords, especially with speed, from getting into the base.
Yeah, it's a really good answer from Rhett. And honestly, you see his psychology in this best of 5 coming through. He's been doing a lot of stuff that...
Sorry, go ahead.
He's been doing a lot of things that have indicated to WhiteRa, you need to play Stargate because I'm going to play this style. And now, finally, he's gone for a play that, yes, has a Stargate in it. And now this idea of this mass drop. And unless you get to Phoenix out there and starts to scout the unusually large count of Overlords that are going in that direction, and things are going to get a bit messy.
And I thought that the Ventral Sax was actually a little bit faster than it is. It's really slow. And the Phoenix is super fast too. So now we have WhiteRa knowing everything that's going on. He knows that this is the only option left. There's nothing left for Rhett to do unless he's hidden a spire somewhere or use an Overlord to spread creep and then build a building, and he sees it now as well. And he already has cannons in position in his main base too. Yeah,
it's really nice. He's set up for this. And honestly, this is going to be really difficult for Red because those Phoenixes are going to start picking off the Overlords. They don't do that very fast, I have to say. And he's going to go for the aggressive drop regardless. He needs to focus down, at least bring down that one Overlord before it lands. No. He's shooting at the wrong target. He needs to get that Overlord. It must be killed. Down it goes, but still, there are a few Zerglings. I don't think there's actually enough Zerglings, though.
No, there's not, and Rhett is going to go to the natural as well with these Overlords too, and he's going to try to drop in multi-areas, and I don't think he has enough. He's losing Overlords, he's supply capped as well. Rhett is not looking in good shape.
No, he's not, and WhiteRa doing exactly the right thing at this point, able to scout that, got the information he needed, and now will try to hold it. That didn't really work out so well, unfortunately, with a force field, and a couple of ground units eliminated. No cannon up yet in that, and forcing the cancel there, and that's pulling everything off of the natural expansion while WhiteRa tries to get more defensive units into play.
Yeah, WhiteRa tried to cut corners there by not building that cannon on the natural, and he is going to have enough units and able to warp in more units to deal with this, so he is in a comfortable position. The problem that WhiteRa has to deal with now is Hydras that are on the way, but because he's built so many Phoenixes and a Void around the way as well, he's going to be able to deny all of these Hydras from being lifted in. Another drop into the main base as well as harassment onto the natural.
Yep, the single Void Ray is on the field. The second one is on the way. We'll see what he's able to do with it. Not a lot of Zerglings in the base, really, to do that. A lot of Overlords killed, and, of course, that forces a lot more Overlords to be built by Red and holds his supply back. Supply is about equal at the moment. Probe count actually higher for WhiteRa. Needs, of course, try and take his third because he's going to keep getting oversaturated here if he continues to build probes at this rate.
If WhiteRa decides to take a third base, then I can see him losing this. I hope he doesn't, for his tournament's sake, as these Hydras are on the way. The thing is, I don't think he's scouted the Hydra Den, and he hasn't. He has no idea about Hydras and the possibility about they're all going to be lifted in, and he only has Gateway and Stargate units.
Which is not so good against Hydras, honestly. Mobility is a non-issue here. WhiteRa moving to intercept. He sees the drop coming in. The question is, does he have what he needs to defend this? Honestly, I think he needs to wait for another warp in.
Oh no, this is so bad. Hydras are not going to be able to... Oh, I don't know. This is really difficult for WhiteRa.
It's tricky, and the Guardian Shield immediately eliminated. There's 2 lifts right now. I think he should be able to throw this back, but there's more coming in. Zerglings and Hydra's coming. He needs more Warpins immediately, yet more lifting. WhiteRa is doing a good job of bringing those down, but the Hydra DPS continues to smash its way through the Stalker count. Will WhiteRa have enough to hold this? The WhiteRa goes down. Only 1 left. More Zerglings coming in. There's a good lift. The Hydras have been eliminated. There's 1 or 2 more at the back, but more Zerglings coming in as well. And WhiteRa is holding this, but only just.
Oh, is that WhiteRa? Oh, the WhiteRa survives.
Heroic effort.
The end of it.
Heroic effort and refugees. WhiteRa back in it.
That was close.
Optimum counter to Hydralists, as we just discovered, is actually Stargate units.
He luckily had enough energy to pick up those Hydras to actually deal with that. And
so close.
That was close, because if that Void Ray gone down, that was it. But unfortunately for Rhett, sorry, not going to work. But 2-0 up, he can afford to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good strategy. It was a good idea, and it would have worked if WhiteRa hadn't scouted it and then prepared for it extremely well and held it extremely well. So there you go. WhiteRa is right back in the series, taking 1 game. It's still only 1 game until he gets knocked out, though, so it's everything to play for and a dangerous situation for WhiteRa. We'll be back after this short commercial break, but folks, for the next game, which will be on Tal'Darim Altar. Don't go anywhere.